Alright, so we're going to attempt a roller skate build out of an old pair of Converse and an old pair of Impala trucks. The Impala boots split open, so can't use them anymore. Ordered some aluminum plates that are really made for vans from Etsy's Roll Around Skate Shop. Also got some hardware from them. 1-inch bolts and locking nuts. Shout out to them for providing the plates because I really didn't feel like cutting aluminum. First order of business is to pull out the insoles in my Converse, and that was a bear. This is after. It looks like it's going to tear the shoe apart, but they are old and I am going to destroy them anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get the second one out, but I can tell you right now, it's tough. You just have to rip, and I use screwdrivers to, chisel out some of it, but there's no other way I can see to get them out. So here goes the second one. So there's two schools of thought on the plates and drilling the plates, and I'm going to explain why. I'm going to do it in the shoe. I'm going to do it in the shoe because I am really not sure where on the shoe this plate falls. What I see is, from guesstimation, that this goes all the way to the back here, and it has a little left at the toe. But if I'm off, then that's going to mess up the trucks, where the trucks fall. I'm going to take my chances, mark where the trucks need to go on the sole, and then I'm going to come up with some way to secure this in here so that my drill, number one, doesn't go through my fabric, but also doesn't move the plate, which it's pretty stiff in here, so it's going to be pretty hard for it to move if I clamp it or something. So I took my shoe and I actually measured this part right here, the widest part of the shoe, and then the widest part on the heel, made a mark, took my ruler, connected the marks, and drew the line all the way straight to the end of the shoe. The reason being, because my trucks, I also have to find the center on this side. I marked it right here on the other truck, and the center of this side, I marked it on the front so you can kind of see it. Because what you're ultimately trying to do is you're trying to get your wheels in the front, especially from what I understand, at the centermost part of the widest part of your shoe. And then you also have to make sure that your truck's in a straight line. So once I have that center mark, I'll line it up to that center mark. Once I have that center mark, I'll line it up to that center mark. But then I'll also adjust and make sure my wheels are where I need them to be. Now, I was a little confused about where these wheels really need to be. I kept having, and I still have to add some tape to this one because, see, the holes are going to be up here. The wheels are right here, but the holes are going to be up here. So, all right, so basically I'm going to be lining this up in a minute here. I'm going to go ahead and show you, when I measured, I never use the end of the ruler when it's worn down because it's more accurate to use the first mark on the ruler. So right about there, I had 1 1/4, and so I would just take half of 1 1/4 and make a mark there and just carry it over to the bottom. It's not super scientific, but whatever works, right? So you can see, if you don't like math, this is 1 4 marks, 4 little marks, which are 1/16. So I need half of 1, which is 0.5 or half, and then I need 2 out of those 4 marks. So half, and then 1 2, and that gives you your mark right there. And then I'm just gonna basically kind of loop it over so I can see it on that side. Same thing with the back of your skate. So like I said before, I think it's important, once you get it sort of positioned where you think it ought to go, I put some Gorilla Tape on there, put it on the floor, slipped it on, kind of put some weight on it to make sure it was totally not off balance and it looked, you know, like it should before I marked the holes. So I spent a lot of time measuring, kept pulling the plates off and putting them back on. And I think I finally have dots where they're supposed to go. Hopefully. Finally, I think it's important to get your shoes and compare them side by side and kind of just measure from each end and make sure it sort of looks like you've got it in the same place. That I'm going to do to make sure they're balanced. So I have the bolts from Roll Around Skate Shop that are 1 inch long, but I don't know the diameter. So I tried the smaller, the 5/32 bit, and it is too small. So I'm gonna go up to I did take the 5/32 bit and I drilled through my marked holes on my shoe. So I'll probably have to go back and drill those again. I did leave the metal plate in the shoe. And what I did was held it with my hand up tight against the sole. And when I was drilling through, it made a mark on the metal. So you can kind of see where the holes need to go. Right there. Made a little divot. Hopefully that works. So if you're using Roll Around Skate Shop, it looks like the 3/16 bit works. Okay, so you can not make the mistakes I did. My holes were off. So what I did before, I haven't countersunk anything yet because I'm not even sure I've got the right holes. What I did was I did a test fit of the metal plate, and I've got, 3 of these bolts, barely secured to see how it lines up. And I found that, this hole's not working very well. And I checked, I'm a little bit off center there. So obviously that's not going to be perfect. And the front as well. So more than one hole was off, but I'm trying to salvage this plate, because once you've got the hole drilled, it's really hard to adjust it. I think you could adjust it a little bit because the head is big enough to where you could slide the plate a little bit, or slide the shoe a little bit, but you don't want to have it too big, I don't think, because you don't want the plate sliding all over the place. So I'm trying to make this work. I know my centers weren't perfect to start with, so that doesn't super concern me. I'm drilling inside the shoe right now. Not ideal, but I'm just kind of going back and forth and checking my alignment, and then drilling and checking the hole, because I've got to see daylight for this to be able to work. There's the hole right there. You can see my finger. I'm closing and opening the hole. So at some point, I should be able to get the screw through, or the bolt. Just an iterative process, I guess. Again, I want people to learn from my mistakes, because, I didn't lose any money on this except for my plates, which I bought off of, Etsy. But I already had the trucks, and the shoes are ancient. One mistake I just made was I actually drilled, and if you can see or not, I actually drilled a new hole in my truck. So probably, not sure what I'm going to do about that. I'm not sure how much of an issue it'll be if I tighten that nut down completely. I don't think I'd go skateboarding in a skate park on these anyway, because I need ankle support. But I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that. but you can see I drilled the hole where I needed it to be, and I left the hole where it was before. So I might just get a washer, a 3/16 washer, to kind of put over that. And also, I just a note about the bolts. These bolts were 1 inch long, and I know people complain they have to cut them off, but if you have bolt cutters, it's not that big of a deal. But I think I would go with at least 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 length, because the 1 inch was difficult to start. The nut on the thread was very difficult, and so I'm probably going to go back and replace all these anyway with longer bolts. Not totally lined up, but closer. But I did drill a hole in my truck, so I'm going to try not to do that on the second skate. We'll see. This is a learning process. I just want you guys to get, you know, something out of it that maybe you didn't get from another video. Well, there you go. Another tip, use a drill when you're trying to get these through, because they're almost impossible to push through the rubber. Also, I'm glad I didn't ruin a brand new pair of Vans. I may come back later and do another build with them. Again, I think the second skate ended up lining up a little better. So they could definitely do better on the second skate. I still have to come back and countersink all the screws, but when you look at them in the front, you know, aside from the tape, they look like they're going to be in the same spot the trucks are. The wheels ended up where I wanted them. And I don't think, I think I'm pretty much on center for both skates. So we shall see.